Welcome back to the lab, folks. So today we got a mailbag, and it's a rather big one at that. It contains some pretty interesting stuff. Most of it is going to be the fodder of future videos. So stay tuned and have a look at what we have here. Now, I have been asked in these to put up the prices. I will comply. I'll put the prices up for each thing that I find here. Those prices will be in US dollars, and they will be what I paid for them. So if they're a different price today, I'm sorry. If you want to see what the real price is, the links are always going to be below. You can see what the real price is. Okay, so let's get started here. And our first item. Okay, these are just some 7809 regulators. I just ran out of 9-volt regulators. I decided to get a few more, and there they are. 10 in a package. This is a 2-watt, 50 ohm load, and it's supposed to be good up to 4 gigahertz. We can check that. We could do it in one of our testing AliExpress electronics. Yes, by the way, it's a mailbag from AliExpress. Everything is AliExpress. On one of our testing AliExpress electronics videos, we can do a test of this. We can throw it up on the VNA and have a look and see how good it is. See if it actually does go out to 4 gigahertz. But I did want something that runs a little bit higher in frequency than what I have around here. Most of the stuff that I have is really not even good up to 1 gigahertz. So I thought, get this one, try it out. All right, yeah, so these are just little SMA to BNC connectors here. So I think they're 30 centimeters long. Very handy indeed for connecting things up. Like if I want to connect up something with a BNC connector to my little tiny SA or my nano VNA, then I have to usually put a bunch of couplers in there and then the cables, and so this just simplifies the process, takes a few odd pieces of hardware out of getting things connected up. So it'd be handy to have around here. I may get more of them if these ones work out well. This is kind of a tongue-in-cheek little thing I'm going to do here. So I got these 3 meters here, and what I'm going to do, these 3 meters are incredibly cheap. Oh, that one's a little squash. I'm sure I can open that one up. These 3 meters were actually incredibly cheap. I think I got all 3 of them for 12 bucks. So this is like the under $5, what can you get for under $5 meter thing? Now this is one of those deals where if you go to AliExpress, you can see buy 3 and get free shipping kind of thing. And this was during their big sale in June, where they had some incredibly good prices. So I'm pretty darn sure you can't get these for the prices that I'm going to show you. This one here, okay, this is the Aing DM850. It comes with some yeah, the typical cables here. Nothing terribly wrong with them. You can see that the current rating for 10 amps is unfused. That's a big red flag right there. Got a transistor checker in it. If you're a Dave Jones fan at all, you know what he thinks of those. And you've got it's all manual ranging. The switch is pretty chunky and clunky. Definitely very, very light. There's not much weight to it at all. It has a tilting bail on it, but it doesn't want to stay put. And what I'm going to do with these, I'm just going to do a comparison. So I'll do a video on comparing them to see which one is the better for under $5. These are all Aing, by the way. This one is the SZ308 in red. And it is very, very compact. Again, it's got just about exactly the same cable set as the other one, exactly the same. Yeah, no change in the cable set. It looks as though it has most of the same ranges except for different values. So this one goes up to 1,000 volts. Don't ever put 1,000 volts on it. Volts DC, ohms, diode and continuity. Your milliamp and amp ranges. Again, it's DC amps, unfused, 10 amps. It's got gain for the transistor checker here, of course. It's got 2 ranges for the AC volts, 750 and 200. And in our little comparison, we'll have a quick look inside, and we'll just do a very quick little analysis on them to see if they will or will not check out anything together. So probably hook them all together, test some voltages, and maybe individually check some ohms, see if they do diodes, whatever. But I just want to get it all done quickly in one video. Exactly the same leads again. So size-wise, it's kind of a little bit narrower than that one, about the same height and everything. And a little bit bigger than this one. I think this is unfused. It doesn't say unfused. It should if it is unfused. But I think we'll find out when we get into it that it is unfused. Maximum 10 amps for 10 seconds. And it has a backlight, which is amazing, or supposed to have a backlight, and a hold, and a select. And the reason it's got a select is because it's auto ranging. So you got volts AC, volts DC, millivolts, hertz, non-contact voltage. I'd be surprised if that works in a meter of this price. Your off position, diode and continuity, ohms, microamps, milliamps, and amps. Stay tuned for the video on this, and we'll do it all in one go. But I think we got a winner here. Okay, just stocking up on my supply of these banana plugs. And I thought there was another one. Actually, yeah, I'm missing a bag of the greens. That's a shame. Okay, so yeah, this is just stocking up on those, and you've seen me using them a lot of times for shortening cables or making up my own cables or doing all sorts of things with them. They're my go-to banana plug, except for when I need a dual plug system, then I go to something else. Yeah, where'd the green ones go? Number 13, IEC connectors. Yeah, so if you looked at the video a little while ago, my last mailbag video, I got some of these, and then I did another video on using them to make up cables. What I did actually was I ended up soldering to the contacts in here because the screw shoulders were rather narrow, and then what I did is I potted it with hot glue. This here is just a little meter case. I got this for this. So this is going to be my case for my HRM10. The folks over at Furnisi are a little bit inconsistent in that some of their meters, and I consider this to be one of their nicer meters because it just works really well. It's a really nice meter. They're a little bit inconsistent whether or not they give you a nice case with them or not. And in the case of this HRM10, they didn't. So that's what I got this case for. And yeah, it fits the bill absolutely perfectly. So that's good. That's going to be how I store my HRM10. Nice. Now this is just another one of those cables that I showed you before, except for it's a long one. This was a full meter long, going from SMA to BNC. Kind of box to get into for some reason. It is a battery. This is a battery I got for a specific reason. So there'll be another short little video on this as well. Oh, fortunately it doesn't come with a connector on it. I hope it'll come with the connector I need, but it's okay. I've got the connector from the old battery. So what I need this for is this. This came with and I'll show it when I do the video because it just snaps together and screws together, so we'll have a little work to take it apart. But this came with the battery in it, and this socket here, the pins weren't trimmed, the battery was a little bit thick, so what happened was that one of the pins of the socket dug a little divot into the battery, and the battery doesn't seem to last very long. And I thought that might have been the reason. Now, of course, it could be the current draw on this when it's in quiescent mode. It could be kind of high. And I'll test that when I go to put this battery in. I'll do that as a test as well. So that'll be just a short video of me putting this battery in to get this up and going again. There's the green ones. Okay. No foul. All fair. Nice. Now what I got this for, if you recall in an older mailbag video, and I might put a link to that up here as well, is I got this in. A bunch of stuff in that order got really cracked up. Now this is a really nice case with a magnetic lid on it and everything, and I thought, you know, it's such a shame that this got messed up because now I have nothing to put my thermal imager in. What I've been keeping it in is just the foam insert that it came in. So let's see if I was correct. And I am. There you go. It's a little bit tight, but I think everything will get used to each other. And will the foam on the top fit in there as well? Probably won't keep that there, but yeah. And then of course there's room for, you know, little pouches for some accessories if there's anything else I wanted to include in here. and the carry handle there, and another flap up here, more accessories. And I don't think that hook is going to do me much good, so I'll probably end up removing that. That's where my thermal imager will go. This is a battery tester. I got the idea to get this. I watched a video by the Project Farm. If you've ever seen that channel, it's pretty good. And he tested a whole bunch of them. And this is the one he liked best, was this Ancel model BA101. So test the healthier battery. Test a number of things. It'll test the cold cranking amps. It'll test the reserve capacity of it. It'll give you a go, no go on it, whether it thinks it's a good battery or not a good battery. And it looks like I might be shopping around for a case for this at some point as well. Okay, these next 5 things are all related and similar to the 3 little multimeters I showed you before. This is going to be another shootout, but more serious multimeters. And these are all high precision, 4.5 digit meters, ranging from 20,000 counts up to 60,000 counts. This one looks a little squished. On these, I'm actually going to do a 3-part series and comparing these. Now, all these were under $40. I think 2 of them were actually under $30. So I thought it'd be worthwhile having a look at see what you can get for a high precision multimeter under 40 bucks. There's a couple of other ones. There was one from O1 that just didn't quite make the cut. It was a little bit over $40. I think it was about 43 or 44 when I decided to do this. But it came, since then I've seen it come down below that. Okay, this is a Zoe ZT225. This one has 2,500 counts. And it's a full auto ranging, and it's got a lot of different functions. So yeah, it comes with some pretty good accessories. I don't want to completely go through these at this point in time. So I'm just going to introduce you to the players. Yeah, this one is actually 60,000 counts. I can't pronounce that. I don't know how many handheld multimeters have more than 4.5 digits without getting into very, very expensive meters. Oh, this has got a nice switch on it. Oh, that feels nice. Okay, let's hope the rest of it is just as nice. It's got a few other buttons here for enabling functions too. So we'll have to do a proper function count on all of them. So what I'm going to do in the 3-part series is that the first one, we'll just go through all the basic features. We'll put batteries in them, we'll turn them on. And I'll also tell you how I'm going to rate these different meters. The second one, we'll go through all the different ranges on it, see how accurate they are. I fully predict that all of them will be very accurate and meet the specifications, because seriously, I have not seen a multimeter that won't meet its specifications in some decades now. I think the technology behind multimeters is at such a point that even those $5 ones or $3 ones that I showed you earlier, they're going to be accurate. So we don't have to really worry about that. But we'll go through that anyway. And then in the final one, we'll clean up any loose ends that we have and mention any other things we come across along the way and tabulate it and come up with a winner. Here. Oh dear, look what I did. I cut right through the case. That's too bad. Now this one here is an Aing. This looks very much like the size of a Fluke 17B, isn't it? Same kind of layout and everything, very similar looking meter. And I got it in green. There was other colors available too, but I decided I'd go with the green. I feel so bad about that. I'm going to be a bit more careful with the next ones, aren't I? We have this one here, which has got incriminating information on both sides. Oh, this one comes in a bag. And, oh, nice knob. That's what she said, right? These last two here, I think they're only 20,000 counts, or 19,999. Now here's another one. This one comes in a box anyway, so less likely for me to tear it apart, but I'll be more careful. So yeah, this is the Havot Test. Now I'm familiar with this meter. I have the IFPYGIX version of it, and it's an excellent meter. I have absolutely no complaints about it. It's another 20,000 count meter, and it works pretty flawlessly. And oh yeah, this one's very easy to turn, not quite as positive as a couple of the other ones, but yeah, all in all, it's a very nice little meter. It has a little fancy little thing where it lights up, like if you're on current here, it'll light up these ones over here, depending on which one current range you have it on. And you have it on volts, it'll light up these ones over here. So it does remind you a little bit about where you should be putting your leads. I don't know if the rest of them have that or not, but like I say, I am familiar with this. And this is exactly the same as the Kaiwits in every respect, as far as I can see, except for there's Kaiwits up here, but they're both HT118Es. All right. Okay, I think that's it, folks. That's all we have for you today. Yeah, so look forward to those videos coming up. I'm going to feature most of what we saw here, some sort of little test or shootout or something of that nature, especially this one here. I think these 5 meters represent some of the best out there, at least from what I've read about on some of the forums out there. They seem to be amongst somebody's favorite, except for that ACVUS one. I've never heard of that one before, but it looked like a very interesting meter, especially with its, I think, a 60,000 counts. Folks, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for coming out. Bye.